If you are looking for ways on how your body responds to stress, as well as how to get in front of the stress, make sure you watch this video until the end. Hi, my name is Alexandra Streisand and I am a certified and professional confidence and relationship coach. If you are looking for more tips and tricks towards just releasing stress and anxiety and the overwhelm and really creating some more positivity and acceptance in your life, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. As you may know, stress is a natural response from our bodies when we are faced with a threat. And as a result, we go into our fight or flight response. That happens when our body feels like we are in a situation that is life-threatening, where we need to either be prepared to fight or run away quickly to safety. And the reason that our body responds that way is because way back when, we needed that stress response. We needed that fight or flight in case we were faced with a lion or some type of predator, and we needed to either run or make sure we fought for our lives. However, as evolution has gone on and we've become more civilized, we are less likely to be faced in front of a lion or some type of predator where we need that fight or flight response. Our nervous system, however, does not understand the difference between us being in front of a predator versus us being in a traffic jam, having to do a public speaking event, as well as a work deadline. And because of that, that creates a lot of stress for us, as well as adrenaline pumping fast throughout our body. The less awareness we have around what's triggering our stress, as well as how it's affecting us, the longer we stay in that stressful situation, the more overwhelmed we become and the more anxious we begin to feel. But when we can start shining some light on our stress triggers and we bring more awareness to our stressors, we can start rationalizing them in a different way and we can start getting ahead of them. And the way we do that is by incorporating mindfulness. Because mindfulness calms our entire body, including our nervous system, and allows us to react to things in a much more realistic and reasonable way. So how do we release that stress? The first thing to do is to start really paying attention to how our body reacts in a stressful situation. So think about a stressful situation really quick. When you start thinking about it, ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling? Is my stomach starting to turn? Am I getting achy? Or is my stomach cramping? Are my muscles tense and tight? Am I locking my hands or even my jaw? Does my body feel like it's on fire because the adrenaline is pumping so strong? What about my breathing? Is it really shallow or really intense? And when we create awareness around where our stress is stemming from, we can start by breathing into it. So we want to place our hand on our heart and our one hand on our stomach. And we want to take 5 really deep breaths. And when we're taking those deep breaths, we want to hone in on where we're feeling that stress. And we want to feel ourselves release the stress that is coming up in that area. So for example, let's say that the stress is that my body is on fire. What I want to do is I want to start breathing in really deeply and focusing on my body cooling down, releasing the anger, releasing that frustration, and releasing the heat that we're feeling. So ready? Breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathe in and then breathe out. And once you do that 5 times, and when you start really focusing on the stress points, you'll start to feel a calmness rush over you, even just by doing that little exercise. So I want you to give it a try, and then comment below and tell me what you think. Now the next step is figuring out what your stress response is. So let me ask you, are you the type that when you're stressed, you get really angry and agitated and emotional? Where you feel just so overwhelmed that you want to scream or lash out? Or are you the type that gets really withdrawn, where you shut down and you feel detached? When we're angry and frustrated and agitated, we want to do things that are going to help calm us down, that are going to help release that intense adrenaline rush. And when we're in the more withdrawn or shut down space, we want to do things that stimulate and energize us. And honestly, I think the best thing to do for both responses is to get outside, whether that's going for a walk or a run, or just even deep breathing. surrounding yourself with nature, with the sun, with the trees, with the wind. Those things allow us to feel really good and connected. And when we can be mindful about what's around us, that allows us to take our mind off of the stress and be really present in the moment. Some other examples of things that can help quiet you down when you're in that angry space is maybe taking a really long shower, playing some good music, doing some cooking, or something that makes you feel good. And as for something that's stimulating and energizing when you're withdrawn, maybe that means going for a run, or playing some happy music, or doing some yoga. Whatever it is, it's about creating movement, because movement is a great way to express and release the stress that we are feeling, as well as that anxiety. So now that you've understood how your body responds, as well as what to do after you find out that response, the next step is to start experimenting with ways to get ahead of the stress. So what comes up for me is really tapping into our 5 senses. The first one being sight. Maybe that means looking at some old photos that make you feel really good, or watching a funny movie. Maybe that means going outside and going to a garden or an area where there's a lot of bright colors. And the next one is smell. Maybe that means lighting a scented candle that smells really good for you, or burning some incense, or playing around with some essential oils. Whatever that looks like, we want to start incorporating smells that feel really good for us and bring us back into a comfortable space. The next is touch. Maybe you have an animal at home that you can pet or cuddle up with. Maybe you have a really fuzzy blanket or sweatshirt or a pair of pants that you just love to be in because of how comfortable they are. Whatever it is, we want to wrap ourselves in that good feeling, warmth, and connection. And the next one is taste. Maybe that means indulging in a small treat that you know is your favorite. Maybe that means eating a delicious meal that you just can't get enough of, or drinking something really refreshing, or biting into a really juicy, fresh piece of fruit. And then we have sound. So maybe that means playing some really beautiful music, or music that you just connect to and love. Maybe that means opening up your windows and listening to the birds chirping, or calling someone who you just love to speak with. Whatever that looks like, we want to start incorporating some really good feeling sounds. And last but not least, and something that I think is so powerful to incorporate no matter what sense you choose, is movement. Moving our bodies in whatever way that we feel inspired to. Maybe that means doing some yoga, or just some stretching, or dancing and jumping around. Whatever that looks like, we really want to tap in to moving our bodies and releasing the stress on every single level, and movement is the best thing to do for that. So when you're able to incorporate things to help enhance the other senses as well as the movement, you really start preparing yourself to create a calm and comfortable space so you're able to get ahead of that stress. So I would love to hear from you. What sensory did you choose, and which one stood out for you? What parts of your body do you feel stress? Now that you have awareness around it, what has that done for you? Make sure you comment below and let me know, because we are in this together. We're creating more mindfulness, we're releasing the stress, the anxiety, and the overwhelm, and you are not in this alone. So allow me to be here to support you, because you deserve it. As always, thank you so much for spending your time and energy with me, and I'm so excited to see you in my next video. Sending tons of love your way.